All right, in this episode, let's talk about integrity. But first off, I want to thank you guys for watching my videos, for making the comments. Your comments off of, God, what was it? I'm going to leave all this in because, I'm only human. Just can't remember, but the last video that I showed last Sunday, which was, oh my God. Well, anyway, it had to do something with telling the truth. I want to say fidelity, but that's not the word I'm looking for. I'll come up with it later. But anyway, all the comments I got on that video, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that you guys look forward to my videos, and my honesty and integrity kind of like plays a big part of why you watch the videos, and I'm a real person. I'm a real boy. So, but I really appreciate the comments. They're really, heartfelt, and, I just try really hard just to be myself. It's like, there's so many fake people out there, and then sometimes, when, I guess you could say, like, you want to follow like a conga line, do what everybody else is doing because they're getting ahead in the world, but then I kind of look at it, but that's not me. That is not me. So it's like, I'll get made fun of because, like, someone will do something to me that, I don't like. And then I get in my head, well, you know what? I'm going to give them a taste of their own medicine. I'm going to, do back what they did to me. And then 5 minutes later, I go, you know what? But that's not me. That's not me. So why should I do the same thing that they're doing? Because then I become them. So I'm not going to become them. I'm just going to do me. Just go ahead and do everything as planned. And that way, I'm not them. They could do whatever they want. But me, I'm going to do me. That's all I'm going to do. Just do me. So then when I'm doing these reviews, I'm always thinking of how would I feel if I got an item that wasn't right? Would I just lose it? Would I just report it? What would I do? Most of the time, because I'm reviewing it on camera, this is my way of like speaking to, let's say, like Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland, that, hey, look, you guys gave me the wrong order. I didn't go complain, but the bad part is I have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to go ahead and review the item that I was given, because that's the way you want to present it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And if someone goes, well, what are you talking about? It was so good, blah, 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 blah. If I get a lot of you guys saying it was good, I'll go and try it again. And maybe I might get it made right for me. Like the Reuben tacos that I received over at Knott's Berry Farm during the peanut celebration. That wasn't even made correctly. I don't even know what those were. It had none of the right things except maybe the meat. And then the meat I got was all chopped up instead of like one big strip like everybody else got. And it was just made totally different. So I reviewed it as I got it and said it was terrible. And I called Knott's Berry Farm out on it. Did they reply? Of course not. I'm a small channel, but I just sat there and started thinking, what if someone paid for this and it wasn't part of the meal plan? It doesn't hurt as bad if you get on the meal plan, because technically it's free. So I went ahead and called Knott's Berry Farm out on it and said, hey, you know what? You guys need to do better, because this was totally something different. And then I see videos of other people getting the same item, but it was made the way it's supposed to look like in the picture. Mine didn't even look like the picture at all. It had a totally different sauce on it. So I decided from there, it was just like, I've got to be super honest about this, and I have to call people out on it because they messed up. And if that's how you're going to present it to the public, and what if they're paying the $14 for those 2 tacos that weren't correctly? They're going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed. It wasn't like it was on the meal plan that, they may not even have the meal plan. So, most people, they're going to go in and complain. So I just go, let's just do that. But I've been doing that ever since I've been doing these reviews. I've been like, if something's not right, I try to be constructive about it. Like when I get around to doing the Boysenberry Festival, the video. I mean, I did the video, but there's a food item called the stack. Don't get me wrong, it was good, but the only problem is the boysenberry slaw didn't go with it. What it was doing, it was like altering the taste. It like took all the taste and the flavor away. And I was like, well, wait a minute. When you try everything separately, it was good, except for the cornbread. I don't know about their cornbread, guys. Their cornbread's always dry, and it never has little bits of corn in it. But, everybody makes their cornbread different. But if my recommendation was have the coleslaw on the side. So if you do that, maybe the whole thing would taste better. But when you put it together, it just like there was a void in the flavoring. There was like no taste to it at all. And I was just scratching my head. I go, how is this good? I don't get it. Some people are loving it, but again, everybody's taste buds are different. So that's why it's important to find a reviewer where their taste buds align with yours. And then what I try to do best that I can is describe the flavors. So in your mind, if the flavoring matches your palate, then you're going to align with whatever I review. So then if I say it's bad or it's good, then you guys have the choice of whether you want to try it or not. I always say, if I at least give it a 3 Qs out of 5, that means try it. You might like it, but for me, it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Something like that. But that's what I try to do. I try to bring my honesty and integrity into play. So, and I'm standing here still trying to remember the name of that video I had. I keep thinking fidelity, but that's not it. But anyway, yeah, that's what I try to do for you guys, is try to be as honest as I can, my experience. I mean, and I'll get around to this other video. I actually went to Fright Fest at Magic Mountain last year in September. I was totally pissed because I could not bring a camera in. I was just bringing my little DJI Osmo Pocket 3 to record most of the stuff, because that one had the better low light feature than my DJI Osmo Action 5. God, these names, man. So, but they wouldn't let me into the park with it. They basically told me I had to either throw it in the trash or take it back to my car. So I took it back to my car, dogs, and I was using my phone. So the quality just really wasn't up there, but at least I was recording something. And all in all, I had a lot of fun despite, the challenges of like the houses weren't ready yet. So like you walk up, they'd say, come back. We'll probably have it open like an hour or two, or it kept shutting down. Like they didn't have enough people to run the haunts or anything like that. I mean, there was a lot of problems there because they tried to be the biggest, scare place, the biggest Fright Fest that they could be. And I think they just overextended themselves, and it wound up failing like big time. So I understand this year they're not going to put the extreme in front of Fright Fest and just have Fright Fest, okay? So they're just going to go ahead and do that, but I still had fun. It could have been because I was hanging around with friends out there that I met up with. I don't know. I still had fun going there. And I think also too, when you go through the scare zones, the scare actors really made up for what security and management over at Six Flags lacked, which was like, hey, I'm a paying customer. Why wouldn't you want me to record this so I could put it out on social media to get people over here to see what I see and have the fun that I had fun at? Why wouldn't you allow me to do that? And the funny part is they would say there's no recording in the park, but yet they let all the big people in there with their big cameras in there, and here I am with my phone. But I did the best I could, and I tried to bring out like the fun that I had. I even mentioned it in there too, but I still got to work on it, get it out there. But I figured, hey, closer to July, everybody's like going to prepare for, Halloween and all the the Halloween haunts and stuff like that. So kind of like, just get it going. But no, I always try to, be honest and, just think of, I would want to know that if I'm watching someone this video, if they had fun, how they had fun, what did they do, what foods did they try, and that really would interest me. But if they're going to lie to you and say the food is good, the experience is great, you go there, pay your hard-earned money to try to experience what they experienced, and you weren't getting the same thing, I'd be a little pissed. I'd be a little pissed and a little angry at that YouTuber for basically lying to me that they had a good time. What it actually is, when you actually look in between the lines, is they're given things. They're given all the top passes to get into the park. They're giving whatever tasting cards. Usually they get 2 to 3 of them to try out all the foods, and then they go ahead and review them. Most of them will say that, oh, this was good, this was, awesome or whatever. So you get excited, let's go, and then you don't have the same experience that they did. Because they don't care, they didn't pay for anything, they were invited. I would have to say, one YouTuber that I watch, Theme Park Obsession, I kind of believe in some of the things that he says. He'll say stuff that's good or bad, and then he'll be honest about it. Thank you, Knott's Berry Farm, for inviting me out, and they gave me tasting cards to try out the food. And he'll invite a bunch of his friends, and they'll try out the food, and they give their honest answers, and he still gets invited. But I believe in some of the things that he says. Sometimes I'll disagree because, I personally tried the stuff, and I'm like, well, I guess we just have different taste buds. I don't make a comment and I'm like, man, that thing was trash. That was total trash. No, I just, give him a thumbs up and just think in my head, I go, well, we just have different tastes. That's it. That's all. My palate is not the same as his. But some things do align, and that's what I mean. You have to find someone that you trust, that describes the food and the drinks as best they can to align with your palate, and that's what I try to do for you guys. So, but I may or may not get things right. I could be biased on some things. I'm sorry. Bread pudding, that's one of my favorites, and I just didn't, I can't say I didn't find the Knott's Berry Farm bread pudding good. It was good. It's just Disneyland's is better. Sorry, it's still worth getting, but what makes that bread pudding good is the sauce that they put on it. It's a cream cheese sauce with boysenberry. They don't put enough of it on there. I mean, if they slathered that on there, I think it would have been better, and I would have just said, well, you guys are so close to beating out Disneyland that you just inched your way. They just inched their way above you, that Disneyland did. But they didn't. I did just real quick, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, oh, geez, okay. I guess they're counting on the whole bread idea to, be kick-ass. And it was okay. But with the sauce, it made it. That was where all the flavors were in that sauce. But again, I don't know. Sometimes I tend to go off track, but I don't think so. That's what I try to do for you guys. I try to be as honest as I can to get you guys to have the best experience that you can have at a theme park, or if it's a festival or the fair or wherever I go. Try to give you the best experience that I can get. So I try to be honest about it, and then that way it'll kind of reflect, when you watch my videos. I don't want to say you could trust, but at least it kind of gives you an idea of, hey, that looks like that's fun. We ought to go, And that's the kind of thing I want to do. I don't want to say, oh, trust me, guys, just believe in me. Anybody that says that, I normally don't believe them, because that's sort of like a psychological thing to get you to trust them, and then you go there and you're just like, what? Did I just have an off day or what? So I don't do that. I don't say, hey, trust me, guys, you need to get this. I'll be like, I will say, dude, you need to get this, because it is the flavors are popping or anything like that. Well, prime example, Food and Wine over at the Disney Resort. that has to be about the best food and wine that I've been at. Everything tasted good. Had a couple of hiccups on a couple of items, that's it. But everything that we had tasted good. And to me, the money that you spend over there would have been worth it. You know, because previous years, they were okay. I wasn't really thrilled about it because the Boysenberry Festival always like outdid it. But this year, I think they're like neck and neck. There's just different reasons why. And so I'll probably make a video on that once the Boysenberry Festival is completed. I won't have a chance to go back to Food and Wine, but I mean, we had enough food there that I think we tasted just about everything there. So there's really no need to go back to do that again. But anyway, guys, yeah, I always want to have integrity with you guys because it's not me to lie, and it's not me to seek out revenge on anybody. It's just, that's not me. You know, I may think about it. I may, have that moment when someone does something bad to me that I just really want to do it back to them. But once I calm down and think about it, it's just like, you know what? I would love to do that, but that's not me. That would be, I'm trying to be them and get back at them for what they did to me. It's not me. I'm not going to do it. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and also I was doing a little experiment on this camera to try to do the exact same thing and see if this thing would overheat, and I'm pretty much right. The CF Express B card was causing all my heat problems. I'm doing it on a regular SD card because it has two different types, and yeah, that CF Express is causing my heat problems. I mean, I can feel the camera, it feels a little bit warm, but it didn't stop, and I'm not getting any warnings on it, and I'm using the exact same thing except the SD card. And the only other difference is it's slightly cooler out here, but again, I can still feel the heat from the camera, but it's just not giving me any warning. Anyway, at least my experiment kind of worked. I kind of figured it out. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the comments that you're leaving. They're really, heartfelt, and I really appreciate what you guys say. And, all I can say is I'll try to crank out as many good videos as I can and give you guys my honest opinion about what I think about things, whether it's just the festival, food, drink, anything that's out there. I'll give you my honest opinion. And if you find that I'm lying to you, just go ahead and call me out and we'll talk about it. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and have a good night.